What will the Bengals do now that La'el Collins is signed, sealed, and delivered? Hi again, everybody. I'm James Rapien of AllBengals.com and Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Thank you so much for watching over the past few days, few weeks. We've been trying to bring you the best coverage possible. And, well, I'm hoping that we've delivered up to this point and we're not stopping now. So hit that subscribe button, ring the bell. Make sure you check out allbengals.com in between videos for the latest updates, latest news. And let's dive into it. What's next? What's next for this Bengals team? They've added 3 stud offensive linemen. And I say stud because, let's be honest, if these 3 linemen were starting for the Bengals last year, we'd be talking about world champions. We'd be talking about a team that instead of 10-7 was probably 12-5, would have won the AFC North, not only winning the way they did, but relatively easily. Would have probably went into Tennessee and dropped 30. Probably would have went to Kansas City and not been down 21-3. I mean, the whole offense has a chance to be much, much better. But outside of that, where do the Bengals go from here? Well, on defense, they did add Eli Apple, re-signed him to a 1-year deal. Haven't talked much about that on the channel. I like the move. They were also able to re-sign B.J. Hill. We talked a ton about that, and I think that is a big move. But where do they go from here? I think it starts in those 2 areas where they look at defensive line, specifically 3-tech. Larry Ogunjobi signed with the Bears and didn't pass his physical, so now he's a free agent. Does he suddenly make his way back to Cincinnati? As of now, I would say no. Not that the door is completely closed. Just hard for Ogunjobi to come back here. Probably on a 1-year deal, right? Probably on a deal maybe less than what he had last year, or around what he had last year when he was this close. He had agreed to a 3-year, $40.5 million deal with the Chicago Bears. So I think Larry Ogunjobi still on the table for those asking. As far as cornerback, I get it. Stephon Gilmore is the belle of the ball right now. This dude, everybody's talking about him. I know Evan Massey, the NFL insider, had a report that the Bengals were interested. Look, I think the Bengals would love Stephon Gilmore. I also look at the Raiders as a team that is really pushing hard for him, according to reports. And I don't know if the Bengals are going to roll out the La'el Collins red carpet to get a guy like Gilmore, right? And I like Gilmore, and heck, I had him as a tier 1 player on my free agency tiers list that myself and Joe Goodberry and Jake Lisco and Mike Santagata did. And I think I was the only one that had him as a tier 1 because I think he's still a stud. I just don't know if the Bengals are in on him right now. And so we'll see about that if that's the route they go. But I don't anticipate it. So where else could they go? Well, I think that there are a bunch of different corners out there that they could go after this middle to low end tier guys. What guys could they add that to me are in the Eli Apple mold where they were, really talented players that didn't work out as much or haven't worked out recently. And so Eli Apple case, he didn't work out much at all until really coming to Cincinnati. Outside of that, I think that's what they're going to look at. So pedigree, who is it? And I'm looking at our list here, and Steven Nelson is someone that I mentioned pre-draft. Joe Hayden, almost 33 now. I don't see that. Patrick Peterson, 32. Don't necessarily see that either. Could they go after Xavier Rhodes? I'm not sure. Other guys that I could see. Kyle Fuller, would they be interested in him? He's 30. Mike Hughes is 25, appears to be out there. AJ Bouye was a guy who got released. The Bengals met with him last year before I believe he signed with Carolina and made big money from Jacksonville a few years back. So there are guys like that I could see potentially generating interest or piquing the Bengals' interest, so to speak. As far as defensive line goes, they're certainly going to be looking at 3-tech. They brought in Jarran Reed for a visit. Maybe it ends up being Reed. I was told that, he's going to weigh his options. He's going to see what else is out there if he can get more money elsewhere. But things apparently went well, and it was not going to be a Collins situation where he came here and signed. He wanted to weigh his options more. So we'll see. He's 29 years old. Will be 29 throughout the 2022 season. Just turned 29. So certainly fits the mark there for the Bengals. Other guys, that they could potentially look at, it's tough. There aren't many out there. And so Ogunjobi would be one. I'll just name some other interior defensive linemen that are out there. Not necessarily that fit this bill, but just in general. Akeem Hicks, Sheldon Richardson, Ndamukong Suh, Linval Joseph, Calais Campbell. So we'll see with those guys. And the other thing here is edge. And so those are the three spots to me. And it's funny, they're all defense. Edge, interior defensive line, cornerback. I think the Bengals will address two of the three, maybe all three, but certainly two of the three in the coming days and or weeks, depending on how long it gets done. Just some of the top edge guys. I don't think they're going to be in on Jadeveon Clowney. Just doesn't seem like someone they would be on maybe a Jerry Hughes. He is older, so that would be the downside of that. Arden Key just agreed to a deal. That was someone that I could see just because 26 years old fits the bill there from an age standpoint. Derek Barnett, Tack McKinley is a guy that they expressed interest in a few years ago. So there are guys out there, but the Jason Pierre-Pauls, the Melvin Ingrams, the Justin Houstons, you're talking about 33-year-old guys. When will the Bengals be interested in that type? I'm not sure. I don't think it's necessarily this week. Could be wrong, but certainly fits the bill there. And then the other spot is left guard. And, that to me seems like it's going to be a Jackson Carman. Maybe they bring back a Quentin Spain. Just don't think they're into J.C. Treader right now because of the money. They like Ted Karras. They look at it. Is Treader that much better than having a guy in Karras who they really believe in and trust at center, along with a Spain, Carman, Deontay Smith? They battle it out for that one spot. And really, if you have one competition, one spot, where there is a competition, I don't think that's bad. I think you can get the most out of a Jackson Carman. I think you can get the most out of a Deontay Smith in the quest, to fortify that offensive line. At the same time, they can't be against adding a guard. And, Spain is probably one of the best guards remaining. Eric Flowers, he was cut, wouldn't cost against the compensatory formula. Would he be willing to come here looking at it like, can I beat out Jackson Carman for the starting job and reestablish my value? Maybe he does. Maybe he is. Ode Abushi, 31 years old. I don't really see that. Will Hernandez, 26. Do they like him? Maybe they like him. But certainly, to me, Quentin Spain's still in Cincinnati. I would say he's the favorite right now. But that can change, and it can change in a hurry. And look, let's look at it this way. Bradley Bozeman was a guy that people were talking about getting $10 million per year. And Bozeman ultimately got $2.8 million to go to the Panthers for a season. The Bengals were never in on him. That was free agent speculation. He was the second best center. Ryan Jensen's going to get paid, and then it's going to be Bozeman. Well, it didn't turn out to be the case. And the Bengals clearly like Ted Karras much, much more and signed him to a multi-year deal. So we are speculating to a degree. I'm not going to say never to guys like Stephon Gilmore. I just think it's unlikely. I think guys like Jadeveon Clowney really aren't on their radar right now. But the positions in order that I think they're going to address. I think cornerback they're going to address because Lou Anarumo has consistently said you can't have enough corners. Then it'll go defensive line, specifically 3-tech, edge, left guard, or left guard, then edge. So we'll see if they can get something done. It's an exciting time for Bengals fans. It's an exciting time for the Bengals. I hope you're enjoying our coverage. For more, check out allbengals.com. Hit that subscribe button. For our editor and channel coordinator, Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien signing off for now right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk.